Being bored is a beautiful thing, baby. You know, when you've dealt with a lot of anxiety, you've dealt with everything that makes you feel so crazy, you start to live for those moments of just being bored. I've been bored these last few days, just, working on things and living life as anybody does. And I always think to myself, like, when I go to bed at night, and we got something to talk about that. So, good announcement, good announcement. But when I went to bed, I was like, man, today's pretty boring. Thank God. I always think about those times where, God, you remember when life isn't boring? When you're having those constant panic attacks or you're constantly thinking about, I'm going to die and all these kind of things. Don't you wish at those moments that you could just be bored? Boredom is the best thing you can ask for life. Because when you're bored, that means nothing's going on in your life. Now, sometimes that might mean you're not taking care of things either. But in this case, I'm just bored. I'm just kind of waiting for things to come together, just waiting for that. And I don't live for the life of, oh, just let me excite my life. I need to go. Like, nothing wrong with going in the mountains and going hiking. Yes, you need to go out and touch grass. I agree with all of that. But that can even within itself be boring in a good way. Like, it's monotonous because I could do that every single day if I wanted to, right? But it's way better than having to live in constant fear and just constantly just feel. I was just making sure I was recording. Constant feel of just dread and fear. So let's talk about going to bed last night. Well, I went to bed last night, as usual, to the cable guy. I wake up and I get the morning anxiety that we talked about. I get the heart flutters. Right. Well, not technically, it's not heart flutters, it's chest flutters, right? So, because sometimes I've been saying that I've been waking up and I've been getting that morning anxiety and it's dreadful. But, but, this is a beautiful time of year because this is Ash Wednesday as I'm recording this. So that means the beginning of Lent has started. Oh, just to make sure. That means Lent has started. So this is the part of the year where I don't doom scroll because I cut off anything I do with sports or anything in that nature. Hold on a second. I cut off anything with sports and anything within that nature. So that means I don't doom scroll. So that means when I wake up in the morning, I can't doom scroll. And so I got the chest flutters in. I made it through. I was able to fall back asleep. And I think this constant need, and I want to talk about this. I'm going to go ahead and add this in here. The constant need for that dopamine that comes from doom scrolling is horrible for your anxiety. Horrible! It's horrible for your anxiety. I know this, and it's so frustrating because I know how bad it is for my anxiety to do doom scrolling. Every time I have flare ups, it's because I'm doom scrolling. Almost every time I have a flare up, it's because I've been doom scrolling, right? And so I love this part of the year. And actually, I'm going to try to use this part of the year to actually, for once and all, make an end to doom scrolling, okay? Instead, I'm just going to focus my time on other stuff. I've actually got a little bit into video games, not a whole lot. Just stuff where you can build and stuff like that. Legos and stuff like that. I enjoy that kind of stuff. It can pass by my time without me feeling like I'm wasting time. I'm not saying people who play video games waste time. It's just I can't do it because I don't feel any kind of. Hold on, let's go down a rabbit hole. I don't feel any kind of reward for beating like a game like Dark Souls. Like I don't get a reward to be like, I beat that boss. Like to me, it doesn't give me that reward. My life gives me rewards. When I'm able to go outside and do things and live life and smell the fresh air, that is a win to me, And so those things matter more to me, like life accomplishments, like, oh, I made it to another age, or maybe I got a promotion at work, or maybe this, or maybe that, you know. I make enough to where I have a lot more freedom now, which is my main goal in life, is to have more freedom with my time, not necessarily not work, but be able to spread out my work instead of having to sit at a desk 8 hours straight. You know what I mean? With a small lunch break. I want to take that same 8 hours and be like, all right, I'm gonna put 4 here at this time. I'm gonna put 2 here and 4 there, and at the end of the week, I'm gonna have my 40 hours, whatever. Because I want to be able to attend stuff with my family. I want to go to events. I want to go to sporting events. I want to be able to have that time. But that stuff takes time to get there, so that's what I'm working towards. But those are the kind of things that make me feel like, okay, I'm moving forward because I can actually help people when I learn these things, I can be like, hey, here's how I did it. I really don't feel like I want to teach people how to beat Dark Souls. That doesn't move the needle for me. I'm also older, so I probably don't. I have other stuff in life that I just care about. So, anyway, with that being said, back to the chest flutters and back to the doom scrolling. When I get rid of this doom scrolling and I'm trying to get away from it for good, I'm just gonna have to learn how to be bored and just learn to put my time into other things, put my time into other things and live life in another way. I swear to you, and I swear to you, life is better without doom scrolling. Is what started all of this anxiety for me. Marijuana started it, but once I had the panic attacks, I already told you I started doom scrolling all the time, and I couldn't get away from it. Horrible, horrible times, horrible, horrible times. But I have really just learned that learning how to be bored and just learning to live life and just smell the roses. When I think about life, I think about there's a scene that always pops up in my head. At the end, I'm not going to ruin the show, but at the end of Better Call Saul, there is a scene with a certain individual, and it shows them just chilling. It shows them just chilling and finally getting away from all of it. And that's what I always think about. I always think about that scene of watching that person eat a tuna fish sandwich, right? Tuna fish sandwich with whipping cream instead of mayonnaise, okay? Whatever you call it. Was it sandwich whipping cream? I know there's mayonnaise and then there's that whippings, whatever. But that's all I ever think about is eating a tuna fish sandwich and just, this is my life every day. And it's going to be like this for the next 20 years, man. If anybody could just tell me, Trey, for the next 20 years, your life is going to be boring, I take it. I take it. As long as you tell me I'm not going to be poor. You know what I mean? Meaning that I made bad financial decisions. Like, the reason my life is boring because I'm making horrible decisions. I don't want that. But if my life is boring, but I'm not making blankety blank money, but I'm making enough and we're comfortable, baby, I'm good. As long as my family's good, Trey's good. As long as they got smiles on their faces and they loving life, hey, baby, Trey's loving life. That's all I'm trying to get to. I've thought about this a while, too. I thought about my parents. I just saw my parents last week. And it's so crazy because, I always think to myself, like, man, how boring must it be to be older, like, because my parents are, like, they're 60s and 70s now. And I think to myself, how boring would it be with no kids in the house and every day you just wake up and go to work, or you just wake up and if you're retired, you just wake up and just. And some people say that when you get to that point, yeah, your life's pretty much over. And I just disagree. Like, when you can wake up and nothing is going on, you can wake up and go tend to your garden, or you can go do a little bit of farming, or go watch some Matlock. I think it's just better. I used to fight every day of my, what is going on here? I used to fight every day of my life, to not be boring. Not be boring and not be bored. I used to try to be the most funniest guy in the world. I tried to always hype up the room because I hated when I was sitting in a room with people in my high school and we were just reading books. I just hated it. Had to liven it up. Not realizing that the more I kept doing that, the more I started self-sabotaging myself. And I started making things worse and just making stupid decisions. I used to I feel so stupid about what I'm about to say, but when I was a young man, before I started college, I used to purposely not pay rent just to make my life more chaotic. I know that sounds so stupid, but I used to go spend money on something that I did not need so that I would have a reason to work hard. About, oh no, I spent my rent money, so now I gotta do this. I'm making $10 an hour, and I'm sitting here trying to be like, oh man, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Bro, I used to just self-sabotage myself just to give myself some life. You know what I mean? And I feel real bad about that because I really did burn a lot of people being stupid, and I feel really bad about that, and I'm still trying to make those amends today. And I used to be really bad about being bored. That I used to dig too much into people's lives, which is one of the reasons I don't make videos on people anymore. But I used to really, and this is before YouTube and all that. I used to dig into real people's lives and try to get secrets from them and get the scoop. I'll tell you a quick story. One time, I uh, I had an individual who liked another. This is in college. Somebody liked somebody else. Okay. Now I liked. This is so stupid to say in college. I liked this person. I was attracted to this individual. Right. This young lady. She was not attracted to me, but she was attracted to one of my boys. But my boy was not attracted to her. So we're all only thing, nobody's attracted to anybody who's attracted to them. So I'm playing basketball with him one day. We're playing 2K. And all I said is if I win this game, you have to go on a date with said person. Right? Because I wanted to make her happy because I was attracted to her, but I did this in high school too with another friend. Oh man, I was such a loser. But so I hooked them up, right? Later on, I tell this person that I was attracted to, hey, this reminds you of the cable guy, right? When what's his name? Matthew Broderick gets with golly, I'm forgetting her name, Robin. And so I did that same kind of thing. I did some devious things. I played this video game, lied to the girl and said that, hey, he actually really likes you. And then I set him up. And then eventually I told her the truth and she was devastated because he doesn't really like her. That's the kind of stuff I used to do to keep from being bored. Bruh. That's before anxiety. But I hated sitting still. So maybe there was some anxiety there. Obviously, it's worse today than it was back then. But I just hated the feeling of sitting still. Now I stay out of people's business. I don't get nobody's business. I let the people who are journalists and get people who care about that. Now I know there's a lot of people out there who just make videos on people because they got nothing else better to do with their lives, and they just love crapping on people. At the end of the day, they just really love crapping on people, and I'm not about that. Me personally. And so I stay out of that business. I just make videos on Trey, and I tell you my experiences, my failures, my successes, and I try to help you with all of those things. But at the end of the day, man, I'm just learning to be bored, and that's what I've been doing for the last few weeks. I've been probably the most bored I've been, but my mindset is completely different. Before, when I was bored, it's kind of depressing, makes you kind of want to cry. You're like, my life sucks, it's not going anywhere. But now, I'm doing okay, and now I'm bored, and I'm like, thank God I'm bored. Thank God nothing's going on right now. My family's good. People around me are good. I'm not hearing any devastating noise right now. And that's another thing about the doom scrolling. It always makes it seem like something's going on. And there is something always going on. But it's not always something going on in your personal life. But it makes it feel like that. If you go hop on the internet and start doom scrolling, you're gonna see videos about this person, you're gonna see videos about that person, you're gonna see violence, you're gonna see hate, you're gonna see war, you're gonna see debating, you're gonna see rage bait, you're gonna see crying, you're gonna see happiness. It's too many emotions for the mind to handle at one time. And that's why when you meet some people who aren't social media addicts, they don't seem normal. It feels like you can't have a conversation with them because they're like, "What'd you do today?" Or "What's going on in your life?" They can't give you all these. "Oh, did you hear about what's so and so and so and so?" They're just like, "I woke up, had a cup of coffee. I think I read a couple books, watched some Matlock. That's pretty much it, bro. I didn't really do anything today." Asked them the next day, same answer. Next day, same answer. Like, bro, do you ever do anything? Bro, it's been 3 days. I mean, do I need to have some kind of exciting life in 3 days here? Like, bro, it's been a week. Bro, like, every day of my life is not normal. I mean, every day of my life isn't a party. Every now and then I might go out and do something with some friends. Even that's boring, bro. But it's not boring in the sense of it's boring to me. It may be boring to you because I didn't do anything extra. Nothing happened. There was no gossip. We just actually just hung out, talked about a couple things, and we dipped. I'm telling you, I want that life. Sometimes I wish I lived in the cowboy era. I know, obviously, there's stuff that sucks. But I just sometimes wish I could wake up and there wasn't so much. If I went to the grocery store, they had beans. A little bit of meat, and the rest is corn. And that's all I can buy. I don't get it. I don't get all these options of cheeses and all that other stuff. I just get those three things, and that's it. And I make the best I can out of it. You know what I mean? Like, life is just full of so many options now. I just get kind of overwhelmed. Like, sometimes when I purposely go to the smaller grocery stores in my town just because obviously we have Walmarts and stuff like that. I try to go to the smaller places because I get overwhelmed with the big ones. It's like I don't go through the processed aisles anymore. Okay, let me not lie. Let me not lie. If Cheez-Its come out with a new flavor, sometimes I'll check it out. I don't like Cheez-Its like that, but I always want to see what kind of poison they mixed up. And so I've been doing that since I was in high school. That I made it a mission to try every Cheez-It, and I have up to this point. And let me tell you this: no shout out to Cheez-Its. I'm pretty disappointed. I mean, it has gone downhill. Like it's just more and more poison. Maybe it's because I don't eat as much processed food that it just tastes like dirt. Like it don't taste good at all to me anymore. But one thing that does taste good to me that's super processed, Twizzlers. Man, I have those about once every few months, man, and they still hit. They still hit. McDonald's sometimes still hits, bro. It still hits sometimes, bro. You know. But anyway, for the most part, I'm plant based. But every now and then, your boy likes to. Sometimes I like to go back to the devil's nectar and getting better about that. But I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I go back to the devil's nectar. And Cheez-Its have always disappointed me every time I try those again. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just talking now, but yeah, yeah. Speaking of that, before I go, because I don't feel like making this into 15 videos. Processed food can really spike your anxiety. It really can. If you eat enough processed food, it really does spike it. Like, go away from processed food and then come back. It'll tear you up. And I want to go back to that McDonald's thing. I did have a mini panic attack. So I had eaten some McDonald's. And every now and then, everybody gets chest pains. Believe it or not, some people, every now and then your body gives you some kind of weird pains. It might be in your legs. It might be in your face. And you get it and you never feel it again for years or something. And so I got this one chest pain that I haven't probably gotten, and I don't even remember how long, because I haven't had a panic attack in a very long time. I always have mini panic attacks. And when I say mini panic attacks versus panic attacks, a panic attack to me is something that lasts like 30 minutes to an hour. That's a panic attack. Obviously, for other people, I've met a person who said their panic attacks last 5 hours. Baby, couldn't do it. A 5-hour panic attack, baby, couldn't do it. I could not do it. My longest panic attack probably lasted an hour and a half. But that was panic attack 5 minutes. The rest is just doom thoughts. My body's shaking. I'm just in doom mode. But anyway, I had a mini panic attack because I had McDonald's. And I got a weird chest pain. And normally, even if that does not bother me. Every now and then I get a chest pain. It does not bother me because I work out. I do a lot of push-ups. So every now and then it hits my chest. But because I had McDonald's, my mind went to, you're dying because you had processed food. I don't know why my body does that, but it does it sometimes. And with everything going on with processed food and all the videos that are coming out, and even Mike Tyson talking about it, it's been on my mind a lot more. So anyway, I have that mini panic attack, lasted about 3 minutes. It lasted me 1 minute, took me 1 minute to get my head together, took me another minute to stand up, and another minute to sit back down and get back to life. So 3-minute panic attack, just want to throw that out there. But the reason I bring that up is processed foods, they do spike you. So I have red dye, for me, is bad for me. Anytime I have red dye, it gives me really bad acid reflux. So anything red, normally, not saying meat necessarily, but I don't really eat meat like that. But if I have like pepperoni, which is really processed pork, if I have marinara sauce, that normally gets to me. In Twizzlers, they're red. Those will get to me too. And so anything normally that has that red dye bug splatter, whatever they call it, anything with red dye really gives me a lot of problems. But anything with a lot of sugar gives me a lot of problems. And something in processed food, I don't know what the specific ingredient is, always gives me normally processed food shoots your blood spike, gets your glucose up a lot. And I eat a lot of plant-based stuff, so normally I get a slow move up. I eat bananas and oranges in the morning. Sometimes I eat oatmeal. And I normally get a small rise into the day. But once you eat processed food, man, that thing goes ding, ding. And it makes my anxiety go to the roof. And I've read that other people have the same problem. If they eat a certain food, if they eat a lot of processed food, their anxiety gets worse. So I just want to say, Go take a look at your diet. If your anxiety is starting to get real bad, just make sure you're not crunching down on potato chips and cheeses and Cheeto puffs, or even really processed, ultra processed bread. So, and I mean, when I say processed, guys, I really mean ultra processed, because cheese is processed, but it's not ultra processed. So I literally mean ultra processed stuff that they make it out of just gunk. Anyway, I've said enough. Be bored. Be blessed. Love y'all. Peace.